In this video, we'll solve this linear programming minimization problem. For this problem, a company has 3 plants, plant A, plant H, and plant M. And each of them produces 2 kinds of ice creams, regular and deluxe. What's given to us is plant A produces 40 gallons of regular ice cream and 20 gallons of deluxe ice cream per hour. Plant H is 20 gallons per hour for regular ice cream and 40 gallons per hour for the deluxe ice cream. We can find the corresponding information for plant M. What also given to us is the minimum production for the regular ice cream is 320 gallon, and the minimum production for deluxe ice cream is 280 gallon. Here we will set the number of hours of production per day. For plant A is x1, plant H is x2, plant M is x3. We can make the following 2 inequalities, which is 40x1, which is number of gallons of regular ice cream produced by plant A, plus 20 x2, plus 40x3. This should be less than or equal, minimum, right? So greater than or equal to 320. All right, the second inequality is 20x1. That's the number of gallons of deluxe ice cream produced by plant A, and plus similarly 40x2 plus 40x3. The minimum value is 280, so that number needs to be greater than or equal to 280. We want to find the minimum cost, which is C. Okay, that is equal to, it's given to us, $60 per hour for plant A. So 60x1, that's how much it costs for plant A, plus $93 per hour for plant H, so times x2, plus $140 per hour to operate plant M, so x3. This is the problem. We can see this is a minimization problem, and we need to transform it into a maximum problem. First, let's write it as a matrix. A equals, you have 40, 20, 40, 320, and second row 20, 40, 40, 280. For the third row is 60, 93, 140, and here's 1. Now find the transpose of the matrix A, which is exchanging the rows and the columns for matrix A. You have the transpose of matrix A. Oops, I forgot about the last row earlier. Okay, so this is the transpose of matrix A. So now let's translate the transpose of matrix A into a maximization problem. First, let's write the 3 inequalities. So you will call the variables y1 and y2 here. So 40 y1 plus 20 y2 is less than or equal to 60. Second one, 20 y1 plus 40 y2 is less than or equal to 93. And the last row we'll write it as 320 y1 plus 280 y2 equals p. And we're looking for the maximum of p. Now let's translate this into the initial system. 40y1 plus 20y2 plus the select variable will make it x1 equals 60. The second one is 20y1 plus 40y2. Adding the second select variable x2 equals 93. The third one, 40y1 plus 40y2. Adding the third select variable x3 equals 140. And the last one is negative 320x y1 minus 280y2 plus p equals 0. Now let's transform the initial system into a simplex Tableau. So here we have the variables of y1, y2, x1, x2, x3, then we have p here. And this will be an augmented matrix. Completing the tableau, we have this matrix. From those ones, we can tell we have 4 basic variables. There are x1, x2, x3, and p. Now we'll start solving this system. Starting from finding the pivot column, we'll look at all the indicators here. We have 5 indicators, and the most negative indicator gives us the pivot column, which is the column of y1. One of the numbers above the line, 40, 20, 40, will be our pivot element. How do we decide? We find the quotient. So first one is 60 divided by 40, that's 1.5. And then next row, 93 divided by 20, that's definitely greater than 1.5, so not the second one. Third one is 140 divided by 40. This one is 3 point something. So the smallest one is the one with 1.5, which is the first row. The first row is the pivot row. That makes this 40 the pivot. So we need to turn 40 into 1 and the rest into 0. I'm going to do these 4 operations at once. Okay, so for R1, I'm going to divide it by 40, make it the new R1. For R2, I'm going to multiply R1 by negative 1/2, and then add it to R2 and make it the new R2. For R3, I'm just going to multiply R1 by negative 1 and add it to R3, make it the new R3. For R4, I'm going to multiply R1 by 8R1, add it to R4, and make it the new R4. So every row will be changed. So R1 becomes 1, 1/2, 1 over 40, 0, 0, 0, and 60 divided by 40 is 1.5. Let me write 3 over 2. I write fractions for the other ones. For R2, we have 40 times 1/2, that's negative 1/2, that's negative 20, plus 20, that's 0. 20 times negative 1/2, negative 10, plus 40, that's 30. 1 times negative 1/2 is negative 1/2, plus 0 is negative 1/2. 0 plus negative 1/2 is 0, plus 1 is 1. 0 times negative 1/2 is 0, plus 0 is 0. 0 times negative 1/2 is 0, plus 0 is 0. 60 times negative 1/2 is negative 30 at 293. That's 63. Done with the second row. The third row, multiply R1 by negative 1, add to R3. So negative 40 plus negative 40 is 0. Negative 20 plus 40 is 20. Negative 1 plus 0 is negative 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 0 plus 0 is 0. And negative 60 plus 140 is 80. Okay, last row, R1 times 8, so 8 times 40 is 320, plus negative 320 is 0. 8 times 20 is 160, add to negative 280 is negative 120, and then 8 times 1 is 8. 8 plus 0 is 8. 8 times 0 is 0. Plus 0 is 0. Similar here. 1 here. 8 times 60 is 480. And plus 0 is 480. Let's look at the indicators again. Out of those 5 indicators, we have 1 negative indicator. That means we have to do the pivot operations again. So the new pivot column is the second column. First, we'll decide the pivot element. We'll do the division. 3 over 2 divided by 1/2 is 3. And 63 divided by 30 is 2 point something, 2 and 2.1. 80 divided by 20 is 4. So it looks like the winner is that 30. That's the pivot. We'll turn that into 1 and the rest into 0. First, I will change the pivot into 1. So multiply R2 by 1 over 30. Okay, now I'm going to change the rest of the element in that row 0. These are the row operations I will do. What I get after the operations. And the answers coming from the last row. This is x1, this is x2, this is x3. This is the minimum C and maximum of P. So this means plant A should operate 6 hours per day, and plant H should operate 4 hours per day, and the plant M should operate 0 hours per day, and the minimum cost is $732. Of course, you can always use a calculator to solve the problem, and I hope this is helpful, and I will see you in the next video.